Hi. This is a particularly problematic case we got a few days ago. There's a bunch of problems with it. There were some bugs with the auto relief settings, which causes the bottom to look all messed up like this. Those have been fixed with build 49 going forward. But there are some finishing and preparation things with this partial that I wanted to go over that will help you make better partials. The one problem here is obviously some smoothing has been applied, but it's been applied in such a way that a lot of material, thin material, has been added to the refractory. And that is actually, a little thin material will typically disappear, but there's enough here that it's causing very sharp edges. So there's different modes in smooth that are helpful. There's these two flat modes, and there's an additive and a subtractive mode. The subtractive mode will actually slowly remove as it's smoothing. It's a little bit dangerous because it will also literally start removing material you actually want to keep. However, if we look at some of these other options, we have hide, blockout, and refractory, and that is makes it particularly easy to fix edges. So I would use an additive smooth here, and the additive smooth will still remove very thin material, but in general, the actual edge itself, if anything, if you spend too much time there, will get thicker, not thinner. You don't have to worry about cleaning up these floating islands. They disappear anyway. So the other concern might be like, well, if I'm thickening this up, is my partial still going to fit? And of course it is, because we're just hiding the blockout and refractory. We haven't actually removed it yet. So if you actually were to toggle this, or actually let me do something extreme. Let me just add a bunch of material here to make it really not fit. Okay, if I unhide the blockout and refractory and I remove it again, you see that the bump is gone because the refractory and blockout have been removed from the partial again. So you're not actually in danger of making the partial not fit by getting access to the bottom like this. Okay, so the other thing, even in its current state, without that auto relief bug, we have some very nasty looking things here at the bottom, like this little peak here and these kind of volcano looking things. These are actually in the scan. It's tempting to go in here and fix them up. It might have a little bit of effect, but in general, it's in the blockout and refractory, so it's just going to come back. So to fix those up, we go into the Edit Blockout tool. And in this tool, we'll actually notice that this area looks pretty rough. First of all, we have these two deep pits here that are causing part of the problem, and we actually have a hole here. It's a little hard to show, but there's a hole that goes up, small hole in the scan that goes all the way through the model here. So it's very easy to go through and fix these kind of things up. So all we have to do is touch it with a little bit of smooth blockout. That may have actually been too much, but you can tweak it as you want. And then here, I'll actually make a slightly bigger tool head. Just sort of go over these areas and fill them in with a little bit of blockout. This is a standard practice with some techniques where you sort of go into these more aggressive rugae and then basically just sort of fill in the deep parts where you might end up having an issue with fit, or you just want a smoother bottom. So if we go back to smooth and hide, block on refractory, let's see if we had any success here. And yes, see those weird areas are now gone because we've added extra blockout. Okay, so that those techniques will allow you to make a much smoother looking partial. In general, when you're using a printer, a lot of these sharp, noisy artifacts disappear. I mean, not these kind; it's too much. But if you're actually milling, you probably want to spend a few extra minutes to clean up these kind of areas. Let's go to Save for Build and see what it looks like. I'm just going to turn off Reduce Tolerance to speed it up a little bit. All right, so the areas that we worked on. So this edge here looks fine. I can't even remember on which side this noisy stuff was. It's definitely gone. These those little volcanoes in that peak. So anyway, so that basically shows how to go about doing this kind of stuff. All right, thank you. Bye.